was a woman over the weekend who took it upon herself to research my family history in hopes of digging up some kind of a gotcha moment, a gotcha angle to validate illegal immigration and open borders.
Live television is a pressure cooker. Add immigration politics, personal jabs, and a dash of ancestry drama, and you've got a recipe for fireworks. That's exactly what happened when conservative commentator Tomi Lahren faced off against The View co-host Sunny Hostin in a debate that spiraled into one of the most unforgettable moments in daytime TV history. What started as a heated policy discussion turned into a clash of wit, research, and pure nerve, leaving audiences stunned and the internet buzzing for days.
The idea that immigrants come over here and they don't know anything and they're dragging us down, because we all come from immigrants, including you, Tomi Lahren.
Everything looked smooth, at least on the surface, when the segment began. Immigration reform was the hot topic that seemed set to ignite heated debates. Sunny Hostin targeted Tomi Lahren regarding her views on merit-based immigration policy. However, instead of sticking to policy critiques, Hostin veered harshly into deeply personal territory like deep family history. Hostin pulled out what she thought was a gotcha card, census records indicating that Lahren's ancestors emigrated from Norway and Germany during the 1800s and didn't speak English for decades after arriving. The implication? Hypocrisy. If Lahren's family had stigma, how could she advocate for stringent immigration policies? The studio audience held its breath. Expecting a knockout, Hostin appeared overconfident as she leaned back. However, she did not acknowledge the fact that Lahren wasn't just well-spoken, she was prepared to unleash fury.
Grandmother had been here for 10 years, yet spoke no English. Oh my gosh.
If Hostin expected Lahren to shrink under the spotlight, she was sorely mistaken. Instead, Lahren smirked, straightened her posture, and launched into a rebuttal that flipped the script entirely. In a somewhat mocking way, she expressed her gratitude to Hostin, saying that someone had taken the liberty of finishing the assignment. Sure, Germans and Norwegians were part of her family tree. Yes, they arrived in the 1800s. But most importantly, they immigrated legally. They did it by the book. No stepping stones, no bending the rules, no loopholes. They stood in line and filled out the forms and started their new lives. They literally did what Lahren has been passionately advocating for immigrants to do today. The audience lost it. Hostin's trap had blown up in her face. Instead of revealing the double standard, she had unwittingly given Lahren a perfect headline to bolster her case in support of "follow the rules or don't come at all." And Lahren had more up her sleeve. She grinned deviously and challenged her savagely. "If you really have finished hunting through my family tree, how about you go search for Elizabeth Warren's roots next?" This was in reference to the controversies surrounding the false claims by Warren of having Native American blood, which has been a time bomb and a clear signal that Lahren wouldn't be shamed into silence. Lahren made sure to one-up Hostin before starting the deep dive into things. Beginning with immigration policies of the 19th century to today's immigration crisis, she spoke of how modern democracies have failed. The systems in place today, as she argues, have been built to be exploited for political gain. The very reasons she went on to describe gave birth to handouts, welfare programs, contraband employment, and terrorist-infiltrated borders.
Well, it's not just me, it's anybody who advocates for merit-based immigration or has an issue with open borders.
The co-hosts of The View tried to interject, arguing that times have changed and that modern immigration isn't so different from the past. But Lahren shut that down fast. Apples to oranges, she fired back. The 1800s didn't have welfare systems, gang-related border crossings, or terrorists exploiting loopholes. Pretending otherwise, she insisted, only worsens the problem. Then came the humor. When asked how Hostin obtained such detailed ancestry records, Lahren deadpanned that she didn't need 23andMe. The line drew laughs, even from the panel, but it underscored her larger point. The left would rather attack conservatives personally than debate policies honestly. But the final blow was worse. Lahren faced the camera and aimed her attacks directly to The View. "You're focusing a lot more on personal insults than actually solving the problem. Maybe we could get somewhere if you invested half that energy into dealing with the issues." The studio reverted to silence. Even the most composed Hostin appeared, if only briefly, at a loss for what to say. This was not just a simple yelling contest. It was an argument regarding two opposing views of America. A view that considers immigration a challenge that is endured and assimilated, and another contemporary view that treats it as an issue that needs strict measures to control. Yet, apart from policy, the conflict exposed something deeper regarding political arguments in the media. For Hostin, weaponizing ancestry was a gamble. In today's hyper-polarized climate, canceling opponents over their heritage or past missteps is a common tactic. But Lahren's response, cool, prepared, and unapologetic, exposed the risks of that approach. When your gotcha becomes their gotcha, the backlash is brutal. If you are liking the video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Well, there is a woman over the weekend who took it upon herself to research my family history in hopes of digging up some kind of a gotcha moment, a gotcha angle.
This isn't the first time Sunny Hostin's sharp tongue and penchant for personal digs have hijacked a segment on The View. Remember the fiery clash with Candace Owens in 2020? The topic was police reform, but Hostin, armed with what she thought was a bombshell, veered into Owens' marriage, insinuating that her husband's white heritage somehow undermined her credibility as a black conservative voice. Hostin's attempt to weaponize identity politics had backfired, turning Owens into the moment's viral victor. Then there was the infamous 2021 showdown with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. What began as a debate about COVID policies quickly spiraled when Hostin, digging into Sanders' tenure as Trump's press secretary. But when Sarah replied the jab was so brutal, even Whoopi Goldberg had to step in, not to defend Hostin, but to cut to commercial. And who could forget the 2019 spat with Meghan McCain? During a segment on abortion rights, Hostin tried to corner McCain by invoking her late father, Senator John McCain, suggesting his pro-life stance contradicted her own views.
Found that my family who came here in the 1800s from Norway and Germany, that they spoke Norwegian and German.
The dig at Hostin's private family life left the table in stunned silence, proving that no one plays dirty quite like McCain. These moments reveal a pattern. Hostin often reaches for the low-hanging fruit of personal attacks, only to get outmaneuvered by guests who refuse to play victim. Take the 2022 blow-up with Tulsi Gabbard. Discussing foreign policy, Hostin accused Gabbard of parroting Russian propaganda, a loaded claim meant to paint her as a traitor. Gabbard, a veteran, didn't blink and fired back. The audience roared, and Hostin's smirk faded into a tight-lipped glare. Even progressives haven't been spared. When Bernie Sanders appeared in 2023, Hostin tried to grill him on his wealth. The exchange became a meme, with viewers mocking Hostin's gotcha as tone-deaf. Time and again, Hostin's attempts to derail debates with ad hominem strikes have backfired, transforming guests into underdog heroes and exposing The View's struggle to balance drama with substance. After all, in the arena of daytime TV, the loudest gasp doesn't come from the attack, it comes from the comeback. And for all her rehearsed zingers, Hostin keeps learning the hard way. On live TV, the mic always finds the person who came to play, not just preach.
Hypocrite for believing in merit-based immigration. Again, she failed miserably, but this really isn't what she calls resistance genealogy. It's just another indication.
In the days that followed, the controversial exchange was ever more discussed on social media. The conservatives considered Lahren a champion who vanquished The View. Other progressives pointed out that Hostin's argument still maintained its place, that Lahren's ancestors did in fact struggle, which goes to show that assimilation is a gradual process. However, the biggest winner was the audience keen on tuning in. This time at least, a political discussion was not reduced to nonsensical shouting. It was untidy and raw and profoundly human. As for Lahren, she walked out of the studio with her head high, having turned a potential ambush into a rallying cry. And Hostin? Let's just say she'll think twice before Googling another guest's genealogy. So, what do you think? Did Tomi Lahren make the right call in defending her position with such a passion, or was Sunny Hostin right in criticizing her? What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section below and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.